YouTube, hello, welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Wanted to do a little recording at the beginning of the video because I like to post these guild battles with kind of my whole process. I just wanted to put this at the front just to give kind of the Reader's Digest version for the folks that, you know, want to know up front and don't want to have to wait for the entire video. But we're going against this this Zetant Donder. The way that it targets your allies is the enemy with your ally that has the lowest HP, so the lowest max HP. So when it comes to creating a team, if you're not using Provoke to pull the attacks away from your lowest HP unit, you do want to make sure that your tank has the lowest amount of HP. Obviously, if you're using something like Bahamut Rod Aerith, right, which has, as an example, the Gambantane has extra ATB based on how much HP you've lost, make Aerith then your highest tank, like the most tanky stats with the lowest HP. Just because she'll be able to get that extra ATB off, which will get you extra cast on your abilities. This is something that I've been playing with a little bit over the last couple of days. I'm still not very happy with where my DPS is at right now because I haven't found a good way to get my Cloud's DPS to a point that I'm happy with while also keeping the HP above Aerith's. But I'm still going to play around with it for a little while longer. As always, when I do my first official attempts, I'll post that here on YouTube as well so y'all can see that. I'll try to get that up as soon as possible so folks can see what I did and then either do that themselves or build the team very similar to that for their first official attempts. But when it comes to the fight itself, it's actually pretty self-explanatory. When it's got the first opening gauge, let me pull this up in stage 1 really quick just to give you guys an idea. When you're up in this stage 1 fight, and we'll just use this DPS build for now just to showcase it. When this first fight starts, or when the fight first starts rather, when the fight first starts, they've got that electric absorption gauge, right? So basically what this means is that Zetant Donder is going to have a higher defense stat. So what you want to do here is you want to try to get all of your buffs and debuffs on immediately and get this down as fast as possible. Because what happens when you get this down, it's on auto battle, but this is fine. So now once this happens, while this gauge is up, let me pause this before it uses, oh, it already did. While this gauge is up, the Zetant Donder is using physical attacks, so specifically physical defense, right? Once that gauge is gone, that's when it switches over to magic attacks, when it increases its magic defense or magic attack like this. This is when you're going to start seeing magic attacks come through. As a result, for the higher stage fights, for things like the stage 6 fight, the stage 5 fight, etc., you're going to want to mostly bring in physical defense unless you're able to break that gauge. Me personally, I don't have enough lightning DPS to actually get that gauge all the way down. So as a result, all I did was bring in Angeal with a whole bunch of physical defense, and then he's able to tank those hits easily. And as you can see on this fight, we're doing well over 4 million damage even with Cloud. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea with this. It's in the first phase, I'll put a little text box on screen here so you can see as well. But for the first phase before the gauge is down, it's all physical attacks. For the second phase after the gauge is down, it's all magic attacks. So based on what stage you're doing or how much damage you're able to do to that gauge, you should bring in defensive capabilities that match your team's playstyle. So like I said, in the stage 6 fight for me personally, I'm not able to eliminate that electric gauge. So I'm only dealing with physical attacks, which is why we brought in Angeal with the Provoke and the high physical defense stat, right? Because he's able to soak up all those hits easily, no issue whatsoever. While Cloud is doing all of the DPS, I have him basically just fitted out for all DPS. I should probably change his physical attack allies to something else, but that's a conversation for another day. And then obviously Aerith is here just to top off HP and get lightning resist down. Other than that though, that's kind of how we're handling it. I don't have physical defense down in this build, so I do need to play around with it a little tiny bit to try to figure out how to do it. I think what I'm going to do ultimately is take off Angeal and then switch Aerith to Bahamut Rod and Kimura Wand, and then just bring in Red 13 and just make sure that Aerith has the least amount of HP and make her my tank. And that's kind of how I'm going to handle it, just to try to DPS this as much as I can. Like I said, for my official attempts on Saturday, I will post that on YouTube here, so you'll be able to see that. But I wanted to kind of talk about that up front. So, key factors here. Targets the lowest HP member on your team. First phase, before you break that electric gauge, is physical damage. Second phase is lightning magic damage. You can bring in magic defense and lightning resist. and there are a couple of decent lightning resist options, especially in the heal stat. I believe Prime Number is the one that comes to mind that's heal and lightning resist. Yep. So this is a great option. You could even use Matt and just have this in his main hand with 39 lightning resist as the lowest HP target on your team, because he's going to reduce that damage by 40% on top of all of the magic defense that he has. So it's an option for sure. Obviously, there are other really decent options as well. You've got the leather gloves, which is physical defense lightning resist, so it's the best of both worlds there. You've got physical attack lightning resist with W machine gun. I believe this is what, HP lightning resist and nameless, so that's not a bad option. You got a couple of magic defense all weapons that are lightning resist boost. There are a lot of really good lightning resist weapons that you can just kind of slot into your team. So just keep that in mind as you're building out and rostering out your team. And then obviously you'll see in this video kind of the rest of my thought process, me, you know, practicing on the stage 6 fight. But basically what it boils down to is you need somebody that's got lightning resist down, preferably some physical defense down, a physical DPS lightning damage dealer, which is going to be basically just Cloud or Zac if you pulled on the Monster Hunter Zac banner from last June. Obviously, Kate's new banner is good enough, so if you get that to a higher overboost, you could also use that for physical lightning damage. If you have low overboost physical attack lightning weapons, meaning that they're OB0, right? So you've got OB0 Murasame, OB0 Cool Cat's Megaphone, a Thundera Blow 5-star in a lightning boost materia slot will be comparable to those weapons at OB0. So don't underestimate those lightning materias. Make sure that you're cooking some of them to give them a chance to cook in those lightning materia slots. There are a few weapons that have that lightning materia slot. I didn't go over this on stream, which is why we're doing it now. We can actually pull this up in the weapons. So if you go to filter, go to the S ability set, and then you can find lightning boost. These are your weapons that have lightning boost materia slots. Obviously, the lock sword is a limited weapon, but Witch's Broom for Kate Sith is a featured weapon. This has a lightning boost materia slot and is a very good physical weapon. The enhanced sword for Zac is a heal, which isn't great, but also has a lightning boost slot, so that's helpful. Wind Slash is one of the featured weapons in the gear this time around because Yuffie and Vincent are featured. But if you need a weapon that does lightning damage, this not only does this reduce lightning resist, but it also has an attack boost slot for the lightning materia. So this is doubly good. So if you can afford to take this off, lower your buff score by a tiny bit to have this equipped to Yuffie, that's an option. And then the last one is Assault Gun. This one's actually works doubly well because if you have Barret on your team, not only is this giving you a full physical defense all, which is great, it's also giving you that attack boost slot, which is also great, with an attack focused weapon. So this is a very good option. If you haven't used Barret yet, this is a good option as well. So there are a lot of options here. Don't feel frustrated about the fact that there are not a lot of physical lightning weapons. You are not alone. Unless you pulled on that Zac banner last June, you are struggling just like the rest of everybody else is. So don't be too frustrated if you don't have Murasame at a high overboost, especially for newer players. If you don't have Cloud's Murasame at a higher overboost and you don't have a Lightning Arcanum outfit for physical, don't feel too bad about it. Utilize these lightning boost materia slots. Go with the physical lightning blows. And yeah, appreciate y'all watching as always. We are going to have a video here shortly celebrating the fact that we hit 1,000 subscribers, which I appreciate it. A lot of new folks from the Ever Crisis community that are subscribed that helped push us over that 1,000 member threshold. So I appreciate y'all. Hope you've been enjoying the content. And yeah, if you are, make sure you like the video, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you've got any ideas of what you're doing on your side. Like I said, this is a pretty cut and dry one in terms of the strategy. There's not a lot of like building around outside of just, you know, making sure it's targeting your tank if you're not using provoke. But yeah, other than that, this is a pretty cut and dry fight. It's just going to be, you know, how much damage do I deal because of how big my buff score is, right? Which my Yuffie and Vincent weapons are pretty high. But yeah, appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day and enjoy the rest of the video. Let's check the guild battle. All right, so we've got Zetant Donder. No poison, no darkness, no silence, no stun, no fatigue, no fog, no stop. No physical or magic attack debuff. Okay, so can debuff magic defense, can debuff physical defense. At the start of the battle, it greatly increases own physical defense and magic defense with mode annihilation. Force gauge electric absorption can be depleted with lightning element damage. When the gauge is fully depleted, greatly increases own magic attack with power conversion. Uses the lightning element magic attack prismatic ray and follows it up with emergency cooldown, an ability that greatly decreases own physical defense and magic defense. And then obviously provoke is helpful. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is another, man, they just mentioned this in the live stream too, but this is another one where Kimura Wand is going to be like, because it's going to be dealing magic damage, right? Like everything's magic damage. So you're going to need magic defense buffs at the higher stages. Again, we'll always start at stage 1 just to start with. So first things first, we're going to go through and delete all of our stuff just like we always do. Start from refresh slate. And we will start with our buff. Auto formation points, go! And it is Vincent and Yuffie. Vincent and Yuffie, okay. It is physical ability potency, which we already knew. Lightning potency is pretty good. Gear obviously is going to be most of the new stuff here. Oh, it looks like they, yeah, most of the new stuff. Yeah, it makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. Basically from the Rebirth banner on, right? Oh, from the holidays, actually. Right? That was from December. So from December on. All right, so Vincent and Yuffie means that we're not using Yuffie. Obviously, Vincent wasn't really an option here either. Unless you were planning on using his Crow Familiar and his summon weapon for lightning resist down. Which in that case, you're probably feeling kind of bummed here. But for folks that did not pull on the Zac banner, obviously, if you pulled on the Zac banner, this guild battle is very easy. You're playing around Zac. You're playing around Zac's exploit weakness weapon. All right, this is a very easy, you know, team to build. For everybody else, you're probably playing around the Murasame Cloud because this is the only featured weapon. I did, by the way, get enough C ability increase to increase it to 777%, and I want a bonus for this. This should be lucky 7s. I'll say it like it is. This should be lucky 7s. I did good. For the offhand weapon, it is not immune to physical defense debuffs, so if you don't have another person to bring in a defense debuff, you could bring in Hard Edge for armor break for physical defense down. You could bring in the Bahamut Greatsword for haste. This would help you get some more damage down. You can also, if you pulled on it for the Final Fantasy VI banner, Locksword increases lightning damage while also giving some decent R abilities. So not terrible here. I don't know which one of these two is going to be better in terms of the haste or the increased lightning damage. I'm going to take a bet that it's increased lightning damage, and I'm going to bring on Locksword. And then since this is stage 1, like always, we're just going to hone in on just physical attack. We're going to do as much damage as humanly possible. All right, so now the one thing I want to do is I want to bring in one lightning potency weapon. I want to bring in one singular lightning potency weapon, and I want it to have 52 lightning potency. There are only 2 options that I'm aware of that have 52 lightning potency. One is the CC Alloy Greatsword, which is boost magic attack, and the other is the SSR 1976, which is Lucia's weapon that increased HP and lightning potency. What this does is this enables Cloud to have 65 boost lightning potency, getting to that level 8 break by itself. Just the one weapon. Past that, obviously we want a physical attack all allies weapon here, so we're gonna go ahead and grab one. Easy pick for me, it's just Bahamut Greatsword because it's got physical ability potency. There are a lot of options here, right? There are a lot of options. If you have Yuffie's at a higher overboost level and you don't want to include it on the gear score, you could use this for physical attack all allies and physical ability potency, but one of those two is going to be the choice here, just to make sure you're getting the physical ability potency. And then the last thing I'm going to do is get some more physical ability potency, and I'm going to look at specifically the Killer Hornet. This is going to give me the rest of the physical attack that I need to get me up to that level 7 break, and it's going to bring my physical ability potency past the level 4 break, giving me another 15% damage. And that's my Cloud. Looking like 9,000 attack before we get all the other stuff online. Next character we're going to use is going to be Angeal. Angeal is going to be our physical attack buffer here. So we're just going to be looking at, doesn't really matter here. You can get defense all allies if it's AoE. It looks like this is a single target one though. And we're probably looking for magic defense. So this is from the gear shop, the Shinra Expedition wear. You can get this, I think, for 1,500 blue crystals in the shop. So that's a good option for getting some magic defense up. First weapon is going to be Stalwart Integrity. Stalwart Integrity has a 62 boost HP at 120. But the big thing here is that it's a physical attack all allies increase by height. So we don't need the Kate Sith buff. It also comes with buff debuff extension, which is great. I'm also going to be bringing in the Greatsword. The Greatsword is an AoE physical defense decrease, but importantly, it is a physical defense decrease for high and a veil, which is very, 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 very good. So we're gonna bring this in. This is also an option if you're not using Angeal, by the way, and you have this at a higher overboost. This has more physical ability potency than the Killer Hornet does, and also has the rest of the physical attack that you need. It may be that I end up going back that route, because instead of getting the, what is this, 33, so this goes down to 16, I'd be getting 22, which is an extra 6 points. That extra 6 points would actually put me at level 5 physical ability potency, which is an additional 15% damage. I think I just talked myself into that, I'll be honest. But then what? I guess I bring in Aerith instead of Angeal. Yeah, okay. I talked myself into it. Let's bring in Aerith instead of Angeal. Aerith does not have as good of a physical defense debuff, which most folks probably already know. However, she does have the Kimura wand, which makes up for most shortcomings that Aerith could possibly have. This gives obviously the physical attack increase high, also gives magic defense increase, which is something that we would have likely been missing otherwise, which will be helpful. And then I'm gonna bring in her Floral Wand, which is a only mid physical defense decrease, but it is only 3 ATB, which is very helpful. So we're gonna bring in this instead. She doesn't have another physical defense debuff outside of the Sun Umbrella, which is also a mid decrease, but it's a magic attack versus a physical attack. And we're looking for physical damage here. So we're gonna bring in the Floral Wand. I don't have the big fancy overdrive, so we're just gonna bring in, or I'm sorry, the limit break weapon, ultimate weapon. I told you, forgive me, my brain. Good Lord. I wonder if this thing inflicts darkness. I guess we'll find out in the mock battle. Just increase physical attack here. And then for the sub weapons, you can see here the Aerith pretty much has everything that she needs at this point. If you're looking to have her be a cure, like somebody that's curing, you might want to put this in a cure all slot instead of the slot that I put it in. So you can put this here for the cure all slot. I also like having a cure in the cure boost slot, just in case it's a single target cure. Does help, right? In terms of her sub weapons though, I'm not focused on healing at all. I just want Cloud to do the most damage I possibly can, right? So I'm doing physical attack all allies. I'm doing 2 physical attack all allies to give her physical attack all allies 5. If you have 2 at higher overboost levels that give 23 each, which means you'd have to have them both at OB10, that would get you to the level 6 break, which is another 3%. I don't, so not gonna happen. What I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna make this last slot and attack all allies, and there you go. Nothing crazy with the heal stat, obviously. We're not actually looking to heal in this first fight. We're just trying to do damage. So that's the idea. And then since we have our physical defense down, we have our physical attack up. Now all we need is a lightning resist down. Everything else is taken care of. There are 2 options. You can do Kate Sith, who has the aforementioned Witch's Broom at OB6 and higher. This is a high lightning resist decrease, which is very, very good. So this is my best form of lightning resist down as it stands today. I'm also going to be using the Cool Cat's Megaphone just because it gives physical attack all allies. This is not going to be for any particular reason. I just have this available, so we're just going to upgrade because this will also apply Enfeeble, which is obviously very helpful. And then I'm going to boost this up all the way to 120 so I can get the maximum amount out of the physical attack all allies, just like every all allies effect. You want that maxed out. Give Megaphone. We're also going to give the Lightning Thunder Blizzard for Shiva and Ramu. Then the remaining physical attack up. For the outfit, I think if you've got this, that's great, right? This was the free outfit that you got from the Monster Hunter. If you don't, like the gear outfit, the gear voucher is fine. Same thing here. We want physical attack all allies. The idea here is to try to boost up Cloud as high as possible, right? We're going to do physical attack all allies here. We're going to do attack all allies. Yeah, that works. That works. Gets him to a decent spot, right? Not a great spot, but a decent spot. And this is what our team's going to look like. So we've got Kate Sith supporting with Enfeeble and Lightning Resist down. We've got Cloud as our main damage dealer with 12,000 attack. Lightning Potency at 65. I'm sorry, at level 8. Physical Ability Potency at level 5. We're going to be starting with the Lock Sword to increase our lightning damage while we get all of our buffs and debuffs set up. And then let's see how this goes. Mock number 1 in stage number 1. All right, so first things first, we're gonna put our debuffs on here. Wait for our, hold on. It already power converted. Gonna do one more buff here. Ooh. Okay, I'm seeing it. So that is, what is that? It's not fog, it's, no, it is fog, right? Fog. So Esuna fog and Esuna darkness, it's both. Interesting, so it's both. So obviously you really only need to take care of the one. But that is a huge bummer. It gets this attack off twice. This takes up a lot of time. These prismatic rays. This takes a lot of your time. I can't imagine. Surely this just kills it. Yeah. Over 4 million. So definitely need Esuna, Esuna fatigue. I think I just let the, do we just want to let the fog go? I guess we don't have to at the end of the day. Maybe we give Katesith and Esuna fog. That puts this in a weird spot too, because then you kind of want the Bahamut Rod again. Man. All right, let's mock it again with Esuna fatigue and Esuna fog here, because we want Cloud to continue DPSing as much as possible. Obviously for the stage 1 fight, as you can see, this is not that big of a concern. Yeah. See, so if you get that really set up right, even if that character that gets targeted goes down, we need to figure out why it's targeting Katesith too. Because it targeted Katesith both times there, right? I wonder why. Let's see what the Katesith has that the others don't. Katesith's at 10,000 HP, 12,000, 19,000. I'd say it's definitely lowest HP. Definitely lowest HP. Okay. It's good to know. That means that you're definitely going to want to have your lowest HP with the magic defense up higher, right? For the higher fights. But for the stage 1 fight, this is dead simple, y'all. This is super easy. Obviously, my buff is really high because Yuffie and Vincent are 2 of the characters I use pretty frequently. So I'm dealing a lot of damage here, but this is a fairly simple strategy, right? Not terribly difficult. You don't need to have the Lightning Arcanum to do this. You can just need the Murasame Cloud. Again, if you don't have the Final Fantasy VI Lock Sword, you can just use Hard Edge here. It's the same thing. You're just using this as the physical defense decrease instead, which is likely what we're going to end up doing when we get to the higher stages anyways. I'm going to switch this to the armor break and then give Aerith Bahamut Rod. So that way she's got the AoE fatigue Esuna. So that way she can get the fatigue off of everybody instead of having to do it individually. But we'll fart around with it a little bit. The stage 6 fight. This is where things are going to get dicey. I'm just going to hop into it here and see, because I want to see how much damage this thing does. The other thing is we don't have to worry about it going into that single target attack immediately, because we're not going to hit that thing down that fast, right? Whoa, that was a big hit. was a big hit. It's immune to this. That's gonna kill Katsith, I think. Okay. Yeah, okay. So we definitely need the defense buff. Because it's only doing defensive attacks here. Which tells me we're probably switching to Angeal. I have to guess.
Beans?
All right, let's do physical defense all allies, and then just attack all allies is fine. All right, so that makes Angeal super tanky. We can force the issue with provoke. And then he can give us the physical defense increases that we need. Aerith will be our physical defense down and our lightning resist down, and then Cloud's just DPS. Let's try this. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Going to immediately provoke, defense debuff, lightning resist down. I meant to do the 2 again there, my bad. There we go. This looks to be a bit more consistent. Okay. Get our attack buff back on. Ray, welcome in. Yeah, this is looking a bit more consistent. It's still going to be a little messy, but I think this is probably going to be the best that we've got for the stage 6 fight. So it's never going to use the Ray attack. Lemmy, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it. You gotta get to my Lemmy, make sure you thank her. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Get our attack buff back on. Oh, we're low. We're too low HP. We're not getting the attack buff anymore. This is messy. Getting anxiety, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Thanks for starting a hype train, by the way. Once it's over, Chelsea, it'll be worth it. That was a sloppy fight. That was really sloppy. Yikes. Yeah, 3%'s not good. All right, so I don't have to worry about fatigue. I don't have to worry about fog because we're never breaking that it is physical lightning, yep. We're never breaking that gauge, right? So I don't have to worry about the single target attacks at all. It's using all physical attacks for stage 6 specifically. Unless you break that gauge. If you break that gauge, then it switches to magic attacks, but that means you only need physical defense up at that point, right? So you can have a physical tank like Angeal come in and just take all the blows. The issue with Angeal is that Angeal's physical attack up all allies is tied to his HP being above 70%, And when he's got 22,000 HP, it's kind of hard to get that back over 70%. The issue that I'm having is I don't have a physical defense down with my lightning resist down, right? Like the -2 is fine, but Aerith takes too long to ramp up with the lightning resist down because it's got to be cast twice. And then I also need her to heal. So she's needed for too much in this. You know what I mean? So I think what we have to do is remove some of the need. So let's take some of the responsibility off of Aerith. She no longer has to do the physical defense down. She just has to do lightning resist. Cloud's doing physical defense down now, right? It's a little less DPS overall, but I think this is going to be better. Let's do this instead. Because then she'll be able to do this big AoE heal. I need to move the cure materia and the Esunas materia around, but I just want to see what it looks like. This also lets Aerith help with physical defense buffs too, right? Because we can do the provoke here, and then just do this for physical defense up now. Ooh. Yeah, that is about as good as it's gonna get, I think. I'm actually playing it on Game Pass, Evan, but yes, I am loving it so far. I am. It's been a lot of fun. It's exactly what you would hope it would be. If you play the OG Oblivion, you will enjoy this. But yeah, I'm having a blast. That should last for the rest of the fight. Oh, it didn't let me get the limits off. Undertaker, welcome in. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? He's got the cyan armor from Final Fantasy VI. That was way less damage, by the way. I don't know how much better this is gonna get for me, y'all. I'll be honest. That lowered my DPS a lot, so that was definitely not the call.